All right, let's dive into one of the trickiest parts of being a tech leader, figuring out how to budget for custom software. To really get this right, you can't just wing it. You need a playbook. So here it is, your financial playbook for 2026, designed to make this whole process a lot less mysterious.
So why is this such a big deal? Well, get this. A staggering 70% of IT projects either completely blow their budget or, maybe even worse, they just fail to deliver the value they promised. The stakes here are incredibly high, and you know what? The problem usually starts way back at the beginning with a shaky financial plan.
And that's why we need to completely flip the script on how we think about this. We have to stop looking at software as just another line item cost to be minimized. Instead, we need to see it for what it is, a strategic investment in the future of the company, something that's going to drive growth and give you an edge. To get there, we're going to follow this 5-part playbook. First, we'll break down the anatomy of a budget. Then we'll talk about choosing the right financial model. We'll navigate all the hidden traps, look ahead to what's coming in 2026, and finally, we'll cover how to actually justify the investment.
Okay, first up, let's get the fundamentals down. You've got to know the rules of the game before you can win it, right? So let's dissect a software budget and see where the money is really going.
So when you look at a typical budget breakdown like this, your eyes go straight to that massive 65% slice for development, right? Of course they do. But here's the secret. The real key to controlling your entire budget is actually hidden in those smaller pieces.
Yeah, development is the big ticket item, no doubt. But spending just a little bit more time and money in that initial 10% for discovery and planning can literally save you a fortune down the road by preventing mistakes and expensive rework. That is your point of maximum leverage. And these are the big things that drive that overall number. What's wild is how they're all connected. You know, you make one decision about your tech stack, and boom, it immediately impacts your security requirements, which then changes the project's complexity. It's like a domino effect. Okay, so now that we've got the lay of the land, let's move to part 2, picking your game plan. How you decide to structure your team and your contracts, well, that's going to have a huge impact on your financial risk and your ability to be flexible.
You basically got 3 main flavors to choose from. A fixed price model gives you predictability, but it's super rigid, no room to change. Time and materials is the total opposite. All the flexibility in the world, but your budget can feel like a moving target. For most innovative projects, the hybrid model is often the sweet spot. You lock in the cost for the core features, and then you have flexibility for everything else.
Then there's the whole where do we find our team question. It's so tempting to look at offshore rates. Sometimes they're 40, even 60% cheaper. But this is a classic trap. A low hourly rate doesn't mean a low total cost. Those savings can get eaten up so fast by hidden costs like communication friction, time zone headaches, and code that just needs to be fixed later.
Every good playbook needs a chapter on defense, on what not to do. So let's talk about the hidden traps, the silent budget killers that cause so many projects to go off the rails. First up, one of my favorites, technical debt. The best way to think about this is like the high-interest credit card of software development. Sure, taking that shortcut feels great now. You hit your deadline, but trust me, you will have to pay that debt back later, and always with interest, usually in the form of slower progress and really expensive fixes.
And then you've got its evil twin, scope creep. This one is sneaky. It's death by 1,000 cuts. It starts with one little, hey, can we just add this one small thing request? And then another, and another, and before you know it, your budget and your timeline are completely blown.
And it doesn't stop there. Don't forget about these guys. Things like recurring fees for APIs, cloud costs that go up as you get more users, data migration, even just the time your own team spends in meetings. These are all very real costs that almost always get left out of the initial budget.
So with all this uncertainty, how in the world do you protect yourself? It's simple. You follow one non-negotiable rule, the 1.5% contingency mandate. You have to go in and secure a budget that is at least 1.5 times your best estimate. And that extra 50%? It's not for shiny new features. It's your war chest for dealing with all the surprises you know are coming.
Okay, let's shift gears and look ahead. A playbook for today isn't going to cut it for tomorrow. We have to account for some massive shifts in technology and the economy that are completely changing the game for software budgeting.
And the biggest game changer on the horizon is, no surprise, AI. But it's a double-edged sword. On one side, you've got tools like GitHub Copilot that are making developers way more productive, and that could lower some costs. But on the other side, if you want to build custom AI features, well, that's a whole new massive expense category that's complex and pretty risky.
And if you want to see what that looks like in real numbers, just check this out. By 2026, we're expecting AI initiatives to eat up 20 to 25% of the entire IT budget. This isn't just some side experiment anymore. It's becoming a core part of tech spending.
This is also doing something really interesting to the job market, creating what's called the barbell effect. Demand for generalist developers is kind of leveling out, but demand for specialists in fields like AI, cybersecurity, and this new thing called FinOps, or cloud financial operations, is just going through the roof, and so are their salaries. You have to budget for that premium talent.
All right, we've come to the final play. You've done all the work, you've built the perfect budget, now you gotta get it approved. This part is all about building a business case so solid they can't say no, and it means speaking the language of finance.
First things first, you have to get the conversation away from just the upfront price tag. It's like buying a car, right? The sticker price is just the beginning. You've got gas, insurance, maintenance. The total cost of ownership, or TCO, does the same thing for software. It shows you the true cost over its entire life. And honestly, it's the only number that really matters.
And if there's one metric that'll make your CFO's ears perk up, it's this one: net present value, or NPV. It sounds complicated, but it's not. All it does is answer one simple question. Is the money this project will make for us in the future worth more than the money we have to spend on it today? A positive NPV is the gold standard proof that your project is a smart investment.
So you just put it all together in this clear 5-step business case. Start by tying it directly to the company's big goals. Calculate the full TCO. Quantify every benefit you can think of, even the soft ones. Model out a few different scenarios to show you've thought about the risks. And finally, promise to track the results after you launch to prove you delivered.
And that brings us to the final question, the one big idea I want you to take away from all this. The next time you start a project, just ask yourself this: are you trying to manage an expense, or are you making a strategic investment that's going to power the future of your company? Because that choice, that makes all the difference.